the recording. Fantastic. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. And this is our, I think, fourth party. It's actually gone so well that I've decided that we're just going to keep going. And every Wednesday, 12:30 Pacific, we are going to be here. Very excited to have my friend Mariah here today. She has a really incredible business called The Fantasy Box, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, because when she and I were talking recently, we came up with this fun idea of a way to use the 10 swirl heart and a way to have that support our relationships and intimacy. And so we're going to talk about that in a quick second. But what's also fun is that just recently, as in last few days, I have now completed my first free mini course that I'm offering to y'all. It's called Progress Mapping 101. And it's an opportunity for anybody to learn about progress mapping. There's a series of short videos, and you sign up for free at mapyourprogress.com. You can have access to the whole course. You can do it one little piece at a time or all in one sitting, which takes probably about 45 minutes. And I walk you through everything. And as part of that, you get this map, the 10 swirl heart. It's a free download. And so you can go and get this map and then do what Mariah and I are going to talk about here. So yeah, it's fun. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So why don't you just introduce yourself real quick and kind of let everybody know what you've been up to in this business that you've created.
Sure. So hi, everybody. I'm Mariah Byrne. I'm a co-founder of a company called The Fantasy Box, which is a subscription service for romantic adventures for couples. And my partner and I founded the business about 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago. And we just kind of saw a need in the market for couples who were together and were going to be together for a long time to find a way to kind of explore and have a little bit more fun and have that delivered to their house. So they don't have to go out or look for anything or buy anything, and get instructions for how to do everything that may not, have been intuitive. And it was really actually, as Amy, as you and I discussed the other day, when we started it, we kind of thought it was going to be one of those things where we'd have, younger couples who were just sort of into having fun and trying things out. And the people who've been with us the longest, and really, some for over 3 years, are couples who are really using this to work on their relationship. And we get emails every day saying, you know what, this has really brought us together and it's brought our relationship to a whole new level. Not just in our intimate relationship, but in our entire life. We're laughing more, we're talking more, we're making more eye contact, we fight less. When we do fight, we get out of fights easier, because that when you're in a routine with someone, it's really easy to forget why you're with them or what made them special or what makes your relationship unique. Yeah. And our service does a little bit to remind them and have them go on new shared adventures together. And that's actually why, of course, we're talking today, because your tools are completely applicable for couples as well to go on a journey together that they create on their own, as opposed to progress being something that just a person works on individually and then has their support system around them. So
yeah. And it was so fun when we connected those dots, because up until this point, Map Your Progress has been out in the world for about 6 months now. And most of the focus has been on individuals who are wanting to accomplish certain things in their life and, create new habits, meet financial goals, saving, paying things off, and so forth. And I love this idea of using mapping in partnership with whomever in your relationship. And in the context of the Fantasy Box, it's a romantic relationship. But it doesn't have to be. It's this idea of bringing kind of a consciousness and awareness and a playfulness to the relationship and deepening the connection and the intimacy, and using the mapping to be able to do that. And so more specifically, what we've been talking about is, wouldn't it be fun to come up with different, small actions, little acts of appreciation or love or fun, things that couples can do together, and then go ahead and map them. So each swirl would be representative of something that you do together. The first thing that popped into mind is, wouldn't it be sweet if you had a slow dance in the kitchen, just on a weeknight when, you're all busy, but just to take a few minutes and put on a really lovely song and just have a few minutes together and to be connected. And then, you go ahead and you color in your swirl. You could stick this up, on the refrigerator, in the bathroom, in the bedroom, and have a fun little adventure, a little game together with just these little things that you can do to deepen that connection.
Yep. And then on top of that, I love that idea. And I also, you could even write inside what you colored that swirl in for and what the date was. And I think it's a really great way, when times are hard, it's a really great visual reminder of things that you have done together, and seeing that visual trigger. It's like when you see a picture of a time that you were happy that maybe isn't top of mind for you, but you see it and you instantly remember how you felt in that moment. Seeing something that you've created together with somebody that you love and that you felt very safe or very happy or very stimulated or something that's a really intense and wonderful sensation. It's a great way to call that back, because everybody has challenges in their life. That's life. And so, living life in tandem with someone else can be very tricky, and finding a way to remember all of those great times. One of our favorite people runs a marriage blog called Married Man Sex Life. And one of the things he said about us was that, after 18 years of marriage, it's the memories that count, and that our service is about making memories. And I think this is a fantastic way to visually remind yourself of those memories in a really beautiful way. You can, frame it and put it on the wall. You can, you can get a huge one and put it in your bedroom. I think that's a really cool way to celebrate and actively work on your relationship with your partner. So that's what we're all about, right? We just want people to be together and to be happy, and to think that they made the absolute best decision in committing to the relationship that they're in. And this is a fantastic way to celebrate it. So, our service we think of, kind of the intimate experiences in a range, where there are sensual experiences, which are massaging and communicating, and those more gentle moments, playful, where you're going to end up laughing, control, which is a little bit more about exaggerated control rules, and then costume, which is obviously fantasy play. But I can see when people are coming up with their ideas about the types of things that can go into the swirls, it's also a really great way to think about the range of things that you want to experience. Do we want to have silly moments like making a fort inside the house and, sitting under it with flashlights talking to each other? Or do we want to have a deep and lingering kiss for 10 seconds? Or do we want to spend an evening in bed with our clothes on and, just really enjoying the sensations? So there's a lot of ways that you can use this as both a communication tool, I think, and a way to celebrate the progress that you make and remind you that you really need to be actively investing in your relationship every day. So I'm a huge fan of yours, obviously, and the work that you're doing. But I was really excited that we could take this to a dual session or dual purpose, as opposed to just a single person setting a goal, which is super awesome. And you can't do things without everybody has individual goals, but I like the idea of shared relationship goals too. So
yeah, I'm really excited for people to try this out, and I'm so curious to hear how it goes, because I think the vast majority of mappers at this stage are women. And it's interesting, like, hearing comments from, my husband thinks it's a little weird, or my husband thinks it's great, or whatever. But being able to bring your partner into the process and have it be something that's fun and playful, where you're having a good time, you are creating those memories together, and just experiencing what can actually happen when you do bring the consciousness to it, the visual, the playfulness. I love what you're talking about in terms of writing in the experience and the date, because that's come up over and over again with mappers, where particularly on those days when it's not going the way we want it to go, to look up and see displayed on the wall, or wherever you can see it on a daily basis, and go, okay, but remember that time, or look at how far I have come, or I don't feel great about it today, but look at what we did accomplish. And so I'm excited to see. So everybody go print out one of your 10 swirls. And have fun with this and your partner. And
Absolutely.
make it a little date and come up with some different ideas. And I'm going to go ahead and do a blog post as well where we can have the details and information. We'll have our conversation here and list some of the ideas that Mariah and I come up with. But sky's the limit. And I love what you said too about being intentional in terms of the type of experience you want to have together and the different flavors and ideas that you can do together. So,
well, it's a great way to, if you haven't had the discussion about the 5 love languages, it's a super fantastic way to introduce that concept into your relationship, which is just sort of talking about how you like to have love expressed and talking about ways that you can make that material. And then, you know, just kind of setting an intention and a goal for you both to consciously work together towards having a relationship that's fulfilling for you individually and as a couple. So, you know, I think there's never anything bad that comes out of conversation, and conversation that goes directly to action, that goes directly towards a shared goal, is the best thing out there. So thank you again for creating this awesome idea. I'm really excited to share it with our Fantasy Box family. So.
Oh, the honor is mine. Like I mean, I often will refer to this as an adventure because that's truly how it feels. It's that, and when we get to have these conversations and, you know, creativity is sparked, and it's so much fun to just see how it kind of unfolds. And so I feel like there's this lovely opportunity for couples to, you know, experiment with this together and kind of see what comes of it. I agree. It's like, it's going to be good stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Can't wait to hear how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming by, my dear.
Absolutely. My pleasure. As always.
And yes. And so, yeah, we will be in touch. I will have some things to kind of take this further. So yeah, thank you so much.
You too. Thank you. I don't know how to can you take me out of here so someone else can
yes, exactly. Yes. I'll go ahead and do that. Right. Thank you so much.
Bye,
dear. Okay, beautiful. All right. Oh, and fantastic. And you'd had a question about, do I have to call in to get my photo up? Yes. So, well, I guess it depends on if you're talking about the photo and your icon or actually having a conversation with me. If you want to chat with me, anyone wants to ask a question, you just go ahead and click on the call in. Elio, I see you're here too. Fantastic. Hi. And you're welcome to pop in and say hello and let us know how writing's been going. Oh, and fantastic. Let's have you join in. Let's see. Is it coming up? And I'm not sure if you are able to see me. Sometimes notice when we're learning, because this is a new technology for all of us, that sometimes the browser that you're using, you know, like it be Safari or Chrome or Firefox or whatever, that can make a difference in terms of whether or not you're able to actually connect in with the video. Okay, so you can see me. Let me try. I'm going to click you out here real quick. Try it once more, Anne. See if you can call in. And there we go. Beautiful. It seems like it's having a little bit of a challenge connecting, which happened. And what browser are you using? I love that we can just like have group chat conversation here. Okay, so we'll see. Chrome. Okay. Okay, it says I'm getting some sort of message about connection in network error, maybe something. I don't know if it's like a firewall issue. Okay, let's see. Let me try once more, and we'll see if it goes. Is there and while we're trying this, is there anybody else that has a question or you want to share something? Then you're totally welcome to call in, give us updates. My hope is that as we do these and as we get used to being able to see each other on Wednesdays, that this is going to be something that's a good support system for you. I think it's really, 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 really key to be able to connect with people that are like-minded and up to similar types of things, and being able to connect with each other and share how things are going, be able to cheer each other on. Like when it's not going well, you're not having a good day, to be able to connect with each other. And that's why I'm here. So happy to help y'all work through anything. Ellie, did you want to say hi? You're totally welcome to come in. I don't know if we've lost you. You're still there, but yeah, you guys just let me know. Okay, and guess. Oh dear. Okay, you want to try once more and see if it'll work? Okay, beautiful. Say a little prayer, maybe. It's so interesting because it's not coming through with the audio. It just is a dark screen. So not sure what's going on. Could it be your camera? It could be. It could be. We're all learning here together. What's interesting is that there's a message that says could not connect you to a network error. Make sure your connection isn't blocked by a firewall. Try using a tablet. Okay, fantastic. Anne's going to give that a go. Very good. So as I was mentioning, just this past weekend launched kind of the newest thing for Map Your Progress, which is Progress Mapping 101. And pretty excited about this because leveraging this really cool platform called Teachery. And essentially it creates a space online where you can go and be able to take courses. And so I've created a course that is free. It's for anybody who's interested in progress mapping and wants to give it a go. And so essentially progress mapping is using the maps that I've created, the creative progress maps, which like this is an example of one, the 10 swirl heart. That's essentially the visual representation of a goal. And I'm just able to take you through kind of step by step with Progress Mapping 101, how to, kind of get the basics down, how to choose a goal. I have 3 different flavors of goals that are some popular ways to use mapping. And I kind of take you through, like, you could, map your financial health if you have like a savings goal, or you're wanting to pay debt off, things like that. You could do a physical health related goal, like you're wanting to maybe move your body more, you're wanting to improve your eating habits, things like that. And then also just a new habit goal. And it could be anything. And it could be also, like Mariah and I were just talking about, you could use it with your partner to create more intimacy and deepening your connection in your relationship, or just having more fun together. So those are a few different ways that you can use this 10 swirl hearts. And so I'm just excited to be able to offer that to really anyone. And I think, the best way to kind of explain what progress mapping is and what it can do in terms of supporting you moving in direction that you want to go, accomplishing things that you want to accomplish in a way that's fun and effective, is just to do it. So that's why I created Progress Mapping 101, so that anybody can get the opportunity to just go ahead and start and experience it for themselves. So, okay. Stephen, hello. Let's see if Anne is able to get back on tablets. Okay. One of the things too that has come up this week, I've mentioned before, one of the other new things that I have been doing is now starting to work with you all one-on-one in the context of what I call Progress for Life. It's like a 12-week adventure where you have something that you're up to, something that you want to accomplish. And then we work together one-on-one, 2 sessions twice a week, where I kind of take you through using progress mapping in your own life exactly as it is right now, and to be able to apply this technique and using the maps to accomplish whatever it is that you're going after. Like for a number of the people I'm working with, they have some kind of entrepreneurial goal, or they want to launch a business, or they want to write their novel, or they want to bring a product into the world. So one of the things that comes up super, super often that I just wanted to speak on a little bit too, in case it's coming up for you, or it may come up for you once you start mapping, is the clever part of our brain that can really get in the way of us making progress. And this is just a very, very human thing that comes up a lot. And when I think of clever brain, I think of, it's the part of our brain that is trying to keep us safe and that is sourced in fear. It's the part of our brain that says that, oh, we probably can't do it. Oh, it's going to be too hard. Oh, I don't know. Well, we failed in the past. And, that gets us kind of stuck in terms of moving forward, and gets in the way of us having sustainable progress in any area of our life, right? So I think a lot of us have had the experience of coming up with a new goal and, like, oh, I'm going to start going to the gym, for example. And it goes really well for like the first few weeks, maybe. And then something happens, and then it kind of goes off the rails. And then we have this experience of, oh, well, I failed, or, I didn't do it right. I'm not a person who can really stick with things. And so that would be an example of clever brain, like this, the kind of stories that we tell ourselves about, us not being able to do something, or needing circumstances to be different for us to get where we want to go or accomplish it or whatever. So what I am reminded of time and time again as I talk to more and more people is that we all have clever brain. We all have that aspect. And again, the design is to keep us safe. But Mariah and I were actually just talking about this before we got on this chat, that when we stay within the confines that our clever brain creates for us, and we stay safe, so to speak, it's the illusion of safety. It's our brain telling us that we're safe. But then it really limits our ability to be creative and to be living a kind of life that we want to live, where we're doing the things that we're passionate about, we're feeling a sense of purpose, like we are here to serve and have some sort of impact and have meaning in our life, like the most amazing, beautiful stuff, right? That can be kind of cut off, or we aren't able to move toward because clever brain gets in the way. And we start to believe clever brain, or we think that because these thoughts are coming up in our brain about how it might not go well, we might not have what it takes, that it's going to be too hard, that we won't have the time, all that kind of stuff. It's just clever brain. Like they're just thoughts, and it's just an aspect of trying to keep us safe. So, thank you for that. It's not something that we need to believe. It's not something that means that we should slow down. If anything, I'm finding this, especially with those that I'm working with one-on-one, the closer that you get toward moving in the direction that you want to go, the more steps that you take, and you're actually doing the work that you feel you're here to do, clever brain comes up loud, and it becomes scarier and scarier and scarier. But that actually can be a good sign. That can be a sign that you are on track. So for those of you that have started mapping and are starting to, experience that clever brain part of it, or the fears, or I don't know if I can really do this, trust me, you can do it. That just means you're a human being. Just means you have a clever brain, and it's okay. And that clever brain's not going away. That it's there for a purpose. But being able to put it in a proper context, super, super key to being able to move forward and have that feeling that you are progressing in your life and that you are on your way. It's absolutely possible. We just need to be able to see clever brain for what it is, and then just keep going. So cool. All right, Anne, I don't know if you are still here. Let's see. I would think that clever brain is one that comes up with 1,000 different and maybe better ways to do what you need to do. Could you go into that a little bit deeper? Great question. Yes. So, and this reminds me a little bit of perfectionism as well, because I'm a recovering perfectionist, and I can really see how that has gotten in the way. I feel like perfectionism is kind of clever brain really taking it next level, where we can create these very stringent rules for ourselves that need to be followed in order for us to get what we want to get. This comes up a lot when people start progress mapping and they start coloring, and they don't want to do it wrong, or they're worried about the colors and the markers that they use to map their progress. They worry about where they put it. Like, it's all these little details where it is absolutely clever brain making a big deal about things that aren't a big deal, right? But it's very real. Like, I think that's important to acknowledge, is that the experience of this, the experience of the fear, the tension, I get it in my body where it feels like a tightening in my chest. I can feel like the blood flow go to my skin. And it's very uncomfortable, And it's legitimately, it's like an experience that is very uncomfortable, because I have created this set of circumstance that says I need to do A, B, and C to be okay, for things to be all right. And so we want to try and control our environment, and feeling that we have a sense of control, that somehow makes us safer. So that is something that is significant. And really, when we start to dig into the deeper layers of this, and thank you so much for that question, then we can see how much this impacts our life. One thing that I've noticed in working with so many of you, in determining what your next right step is for moving toward what it is you want to accomplish, is that this type of clever brain perfectionism stuff is so powerful and insidious. And sometimes we don't even realize that it's happening until we realize that, okay, it's been weeks or maybe months now, and I still have not, moved in the direction that I want to go. It's because this perfectionism stuff really, really runs deep. And we can get up in our brains, the clever brain, thinking that we need to look at all these different avenues, we need to plan for all these different contingencies, and we need to do it the right way. And, we have our own definition internally of what the right way is. But if we can't do it the right way, then we shouldn't be doing it at all. And it's just a spin cycle. And so that was actually one of the reasons why I created my very first map for myself. And using this whole technique was in response to my own perfectionism, and in response to my own realization that I was, going to work, doing a job that I was good at, and I got paid well to do, and kind of going about my life, but realizing that I wasn't actually doing the things that I was most passionate about, because I was afraid, because I thought that I had to save up a bunch of money to be able to really go pursue my dream and establish my own company, or that I had to go work for other companies and other successful startups to know more, to be able to then start my company and move forward. Or in the case of paying off my credit card debt, which is what my very first map was for, that I needed to be married to pay off my debt, that I needed to be making more money to have more cash flow. Like, it goes on and on and on and on and on. Okay. All of these different ways that we can sort of create these barriers to us actually experiencing what we want to experience on a daily basis. And so having the visual, having a representation of the goal in each of the swirls within the map represents a small action that you are taking toward that goal, was a game changer for me. I mean, it changed my whole life. And at the time when the very first one that I did, I didn't realize that I would be turning this into a business and offering these maps and teaching, what I've done with progress mapping. But that all started with needing to do it differently, because my perfectionism was getting in the way of me actually moving forward, actually paying off the debt, actually believing that I had enough to go start my own business and to go create what I wanted to create. So I get really excited talking about this stuff, and I get really excited when I get to have conversations with you, because I feel like everybody has something that is theirs to give, to bring into this world, that only you can bring in. And when we can master, not even master, but just get enough of a sense of clever brain and being able to identify it and see it for what it is, then we open up these doors for ourselves to do incredible things, and to create, and to connect with other people, and really feel like alive, and like we're on our purpose, that on a day-to-day basis, we are doing something that matters. And it is all possible if we can just determine our next right step, to move toward that, and to keep going. And so that's really at the heart of, not to be punny, and that this is a particular heart-shaped map, but that is in essence what progress mapping is all about. So thank you so much. Let's see. So you said, thank you. I do have that tendency. Now I need to come up with a way to map my way, come up with a way to map my way out of it. Yes. And that's really fun too. It's because, I'm excited about Progress Mapping 101, and I would encourage you to go take it, because I talk about too how we can get started, and how we decide, what the the swirls mean in the maps, and how we can set ourselves up so that we are successful, and that each of those swirls represents something that we can do. Really, really key to be able to move forward, especially when we have that perfectionistic tendency. I like to say that the next right step is the one you can do. It needs to be something that doesn't cause you anxiety, that doesn't need to be put off, that doesn't require, A, B, and C to happen, but it's just something that you can do today. And so practicing with yourself how to, kind of take things into small pieces and small bites. So it's like, okay, I really want to write a book, but I'm afraid of that. Okay. And what I'm not afraid of is opening my, writing software and writing for 15 minutes, having no attachment to whether it's good, bad, whatever. But I know I can write for 15 minutes, or I can sit in this chair for 15 minutes. Okay, fantastic. That's the next right step to writing your novel. It's not like making sure that you're doing 1,000 words a day, blah, blah, blah. If you can do 1,000 words a day and that gets done, and you celebrate and you color in your swirl to acknowledge that you did, fantastic. Okay. But if that is anxiety producing, if the day gets too busy in a way and you can't do that, then that's not your next right step for that day. It's just doing something that is moving you toward that direction, where you're practicing being conscious, being intentional about it, doing things that you can do to get in that direction. That's when you start developing this skill and this technique that you can apply in any area of your life. And I've been living this. Like, I can tell you that it works. And from the hundreds of other mappers that I've talked to, it's an exciting thing. So thank you for that question. Okay. Ellie, what did you say? It says, looks like your meditation fern is pretty colorful behind you. Nice work. Thank you so much. I'm so excited about this. She's referring to this calendar. So I'm trying to figure out, guys, how much you can see, how much is shown, because I just see this little square. But this is my my calendar. It's 365 swirls, so it represents the entire year. And each of these ferns is a month. And so it starts with January here. This was January 1st. And so now I think I need to color in my swirl from yesterday. But what's crazy, it's actually not crazy, but it's just exciting. So that's why I say it's crazy, is that in January, I have meditated every single day. Like, this was my goal, to become a person who meditates. And I totally had it that I couldn't be that person, because I just don't stick with things. And the day gets busy and I don't know, I'm not that person. That's what I used to believe. That was my clever brain that was kicking in, right? And so last year in 2015, that's when I started mapping my meditations. And I was amazed at how well that worked, and how I became somebody that was mapping, most days. And it was equally profound that I was able to also use it as a tool to overcome my perfectionism, because I didn't meditate every single day. And so I would have swirls that are blank to acknowledge that particular day I just didn't do it, for whatever reason. And I got to the point where I could forgive myself for that. And it wasn't like a big deal. It wasn't something that I used to shame myself, beat myself up about, feel bad in any way. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. It didn't happen today. Tomorrow's tomorrow, and I'll go meditate and color in a swirl. So what's wild is that when I started this, a new one in 2016, I've gone, so what we're at, I'll do my meditation today and it'll be 27 days in a row. And I'd never done 27 days in a row, not even close. I mean, I think maybe 8 or 9 in a row was the most I'd done before. So it feels kind of wild, because this is new territory for me. And what's cool is it hasn't been hard. It's actually been really easy. And I think that's something that has become very surprising. When we think about habits, I was reading something this week that said that a habit is something that you do without even thinking. And so it can be kind of challenging at first blush when we're thinking about our habits, because we don't really think about them. That's why they're habits. And so to have been practicing this meditation and using my mapping to do that over this last year, it's pretty exciting to realize that it's become habitual, where it's not a big thing, it's not difficult. And so now, I'm very colorful in the month of January when it comes to my meditation, and it's fun. It's kind of wild. So, okay. La la. I'm just going to write down my idea here. Oh, fantastic. Okay. So I am that person, Ellie. Yes, I am a meditator. Feels good. I am a retired teacher and now I'm a chef, caterer, and personal chef. Yum. I do cooking lessons with young kids and teenagers as well. I'm envisioning various shapes of food or pots and pans, and each swirl is dictated by the number of ingredients in a particular recipe. I would have each child I'm teaching color in each swirl for each ingredient being used by the recipe to make sure that they have all the ingredients. Does that make sense? Yes, I think it does make sense. So to make sure that I'm hearing you correctly, Anne, it's a great question. And I love you thinking about how you can use the mapping with your students. Very exciting. I have a sister who's a high school teacher and she just started using the maps with her kids. So I'm like eager to hear how it's going. But yes, kids get this really, really quickly where you have a visual. And so what I would say is, because I don't yet have maps in those shapes, is that you could, a good starting place would be using the 10 swirl heart. That is the least number of swirls, I guess is the way to say it. Fewest number of swirls, perhaps. And so you could have them write in the ingredients in the swirls, and then to make sure that they have everything, and also track that they've added those things, because especially when we're getting started in cooking, I think many of us have had the experience of like forgetting a particular ingredient, right? And what I think too would be kind of fun is that you could write in the ingredients in the swirl heart and also number them in the order in which they are to be used in the dish. So I would love to see you experiment with this and use this to help the kids understand what's going into the recipe, the order in which they're cooking it, and then they have a fun visual representation they did it. So I love that idea. Yeah, please do. Please go experiment with that and see what happens, because that's very much what this is all about, is experimenting, of looking at things in a new way, of playing with this, of having it fun, having it be a game, and just bringing lightness to it, because how we live our days is how we live our life. And so being able to approach it differently, in a way that's much more fun, that focuses on looking how we can win and do well, it changes everything. It changes everything. And I am enjoying my life in a way that I have never enjoyed it before. And so I want that for you. I want that for these kids. I want all of us to have that experience in our life, and whatever that looks like for you. But I really feel like the tools, the maps as tools, and progress mapping as the technique can be incredibly powerful. So yeah, so you're asking, let's see, it's like, I'm not sure, where everything is in place before you start to cook or bake. Yes, really wonderful to make sure that you have everything together before you start that recipe, right? Make sure you have the ingredients, you have the amounts. And you're asking if I'm a visual learner. Oh, mise en place is a French term. How lovely. That's fantastic. Yes, or mise en place? How do you say it? Well, I guess you can't tell me because you're typing, but the latter, mise en place. This is so fun, guys. It's like, yes, yes! Tiny victory, y'all. Me actually pronouncing that correctly is very exciting. Thank you for that. So yes, you could be mapping that aspect of it. Absolutely. And yes, I am a visual learner. And I find too that the people that get most lit up about progress mapping and about using these tools are also visual learners. It's something like I'll often hear people say, oh, I'm a visual person. And I'd like to have the visual. It's really helpful. And I think too, for me, having that visual as a reminder, particularly for goals that are longer term, where they're happening over multiple days, weeks, even a year, it helps bring me back into the intention and what it is that I'm wanting to do, and coming back to that next right step so that I can move toward that goal. Yeah. Oh, and she's, yes, and saying that's her as well. Yeah. And it's so cool to be able to connect with each other, and those that we have these similar experiences and tendencies, and I'm excited to be able to share those things with each other, particularly in the context of these Wednesdays. So yay for that. Fantastic, guys. I mean, oh, Anne's just so sweet. She's like, I wish you could see me nod my head each time. Oh, I adore that. That's lovely, lovely. Yes. Well, and hopefully you'll, maybe come back next week and we can try and see if we can get you in the video so that we can actually talk to each other. That would be really fun. And I would love to hear how it goes with experimenting with the kids and the recipes. I think that's a great idea. I had not thought of that before, and I've not heard of another mapper doing that. So I'm especially keen to know how that goes. Cool. So Ellie, do you want to let us know how writing's been going this week? Yes, there we go. So fun. Cool. And hopefully, there we go. Hello. Oh, hi. I cannot hear you. Let's see. Let me just make sure that all of the things are on. There. Nope, that's okay. I love your headphones. Those are super fun. I can see your mouth moving. I just don't have audio yet. I was so happy that Mercury went out of retrograde a couple days ago, and I'm thinking like, yes, the crazy technology woes may be leaving finally. But yeah, we still have a couple little snags. That's okay. Sometimes too, I'll have to, let me just make sure that that's not a problem. I've totally had the experience where I'm checking all of the configurations and thinking that there's like some issue with my audio, when really it's just that I needed to turn up the volume, and like that was the reason that I couldn't hear. Bless. So just double checking. I think my volume is good. That is wonderful. Anybody else have any questions too that you can let me know? There's I don't know if you guys see it on the left. I have this thing on the left for questions where you can be typing in the comments. And if you have a question that you want me to, kind of see pulled out, you can just do /Q and then your question. And so if you type /Q, your question, then it will be brought up into the queue where I can see it more easily and be able to get that answer. So, okay. So are we going to try not headphones? I don't yet have sound. Oh, fun technologies. Yeah, we're all learning. These are pretty new still. Even for the Twitter folks that have created Blab, this is all still beta. So every day is an adventure and we are figuring it out. Okay, Ellie says she's going to be back. Let's see here. So one of the other things that I mentioned this actually in Progress Mapping 101, that's the new course that anybody can get for free. You just go to mapyourprogress.com. You'll see, no matter what page you land on the website, you'll see something visual come down. You'll see a picture of me coloring. And I talk about like how you can, I'll teach you to progress map. Then there's a button that says show me. It'll be really obvious once you get there, I promise you. Then you click on that and you'll have an opportunity to put in your name and email address and gain immediate access to this progress mapping course. And that gives you immediate access to this 10 swirl heart map, which you can download and get going right away. And so I'd mentioned that in Progress Mapping 101, I go through like kind of 3 popular flavors, 3 different ways of using the map. And then I did kind of a bonus one where you can use it actually as a to-do list. And so I was going to show you some of mine. I actually keep mine on a clipboard. I have this kind of like plumber's looking clipboard that I adore because it's, can you hear that? It's kind of loud, right? But I keep my different to-do lists mapped. And so when I think of something that I need to do or that I want to come back to, then I'll just go ahead and write it in the swirl. And then when I've actually completed it, I'll go ahead and color it in. But you can just print out this 10 swirl heart map, as many as you want, and I kind of have a pile of them so that I can just write stuff down as it comes to me. And then it's a great way, like as I'm going through my day, I will just keep looking back at this and determining like, what's my next right step? which of these swirls is the next most important thing to do? Like what's going to make the most impact in my day? Because it's so easy, right? To just get like pulled in different directions and to have a zillion things that we need to get done on any given day. And it's tempting too, to do the things that are like easiest, right? Or, answer emails or whatever. And then we can find out that our entire day has gone by and we didn't actually do the thing that we said we most wanted to do. So it's fun to use the maps in this way where you can, write down what that thing is. And, for example, you can see one that I outlined here. So I wanted to outline it to call attention to it visually as being one that was more urgent, so that I wanted to make sure that I could remind myself as soon as I was available to do something else that, oh, okay, let me go do that thing. And then I get to, color in my progress there. So that is part of Progress Mapping 101 as well. And you are welcome to experiment with this as a to-do list, which is perhaps the easiest way to get started. And, all of us have shit that we have to do on a daily basis. So you can go ahead and use that. And I find it more satisfying to be able to color in a swirl than like cross it off on the list or check a box or whatever. So, okay, cool. All right, Miss Ellie, I don't know if you are still here. If you want to come and share. Ellie was actually with us last week's progress party, and she was talking about how she has been working on strengthening and enriching her writing habits. So, okay, fantastic. We'll see. We can get the visual. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. That's so exciting.
Oh, hello.
Hey. Hello. It's so good to see you again.
See you.
Yeah. How has this week gone? What's been going on?
Yeah, this week has been really busy in all areas of my life. But I told you and everyone else out there last week that I was planning to have like this big marathon writing weekend where I was sitting down with a friend in a coffee shop to make sure we were both there with our butts in the chair to write. And it totally worked. And we met on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Oh my gosh, all these props. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's so sweet.
That good.
Yay. Yes, see, we get to celebrate victories together. Woo.
Awesome. So it was great. I wrote for, 10 and a half hours this weekend.
That's amazing.
That's madness.
That's a lot of writing.
So much writing. But like I was telling you last week, I track my writing goals in a few different ways just because there are those little successes that happen in different ways. So some of it's like butt in the chair. Even if I'm staring at a blank screen, I count the victory because I sat there, I gave myself the time and the mental space. And even if I didn't write a word, I was thinking about it and stuff swirling around in there. So if I'm sitting with the intent to write and I'm not like, oh, let me go on Facebook or check my email, like I'm only looking at my blank document or my partially written in document, then like that is a success. Also, if I write like a complete poem or a complete essay or a complete chapter, like those are successes. When I a day where I did any writing at all, that is a success. So I actually have a few different maps going as well, where I'm keeping track. And like you said on your meditation when you're rocking it this month, but like if I have a blank day, it's like, that's no big deal. Like I know what didn't happen that day. It was either like I was tired and didn't feel like it, or I was really busy, or something came up. But then like I try to make it happen in different ways. So sometimes it is just like 15 minutes of sitting and staring and hopefully something comes out. And other times it's like, we're going to have a marathon day and like really give you some space to make more headway while I have momentum on, like I was working on an essay this weekend. So
beautiful.
Oh,
I'm so excited. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Really, really great.
Yeah. I'm very excited and very pleased.
Yay. Yay. And I love what you said too about just giving yourself credit for even when you just are like opening up your writing document and staring at it. Because I think so often we can kind of dismiss that as like, oh, not being a big deal, or, oh, I didn't really get anything done, or like, but I think especially on those days when our inclination, if not our habit, is to not sit down, to not write, to not meditate, to not, do whatever it is that we're wanting to do, when we can make that tiny shift and just go sit in the chair, and that's all we got that day, that's all we have to give, I think there's something really beautiful about that, and really kind of sacred. I don't know. I mean, it's just those little decisions when I think there's some grace in that, where life is really hard, but we're going to show up anyhow, and we're going to do just this because this is what we can do for today. Because when we start doing that, and when we make those different small decisions on a daily basis, then that starts to lead to momentum into big shifts. But it's often like not something that we think about. We don't think about how those mundane little decisions and those small steps forward can actually change the course of everything, right? Because we talk ourselves out of it at being like, oh, well, it doesn't really matter, or oh, I'm too tired. But just actually doing what you can for that day, I think, is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And that is quintessential to practicing this technique of progress mapping and building your progress mapping muscles,
Mm-hmm.
of having that awareness, having the intention, sitting down and doing whatever you can do for that day, I think is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very excited to hear it.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And for me, 15 minutes is this like little magical number, because when I say like, I'm going to do this for an hour is like, what? Like, that's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
But like 15 minutes is so small, but you actually can get a lot done. Like, I can write a page typing in 15 minutes, like if my mind is racing and I have stuff to say, or even like my house is a mess and I didn't do the dishes last night or whatever. If I'm like, okay, 15 minutes, and I will set a timer. And like, you can get a lot done in 15 minutes. So it's really manageable to be like, okay, like I can actually make 15 minutes for myself to like accomplish something I want to accomplish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a brilliant example of identifying your next right step. You know, each swirl on our map is represented as a next right step.
Mm-hmm.
And what you just described there of, you know, being able to identify, okay, I can do 15 minutes. Brilliant, because you can do it.
Yeah.
It's the next step is the one you can do. And so doing 15 minutes, or even on a day, you know, where like it's 5 minutes, whatever, if that's what you can do that day, beautiful. Because it's the practice, it's the creation. And like I was talking about meditating, where it's become this habit where I'm not really thinking about it. It's not hard. It's just something that I do because I have been practicing and built up that skill over a period of time, which is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks for letting me share my update.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I love that. I'm so glad that you popped in. And I was thinking about you actually when I was going through the videos from last week. It's like, oh, she was going to do the full weekend of the kind of marathon writing. So I'm excited to hear that it went well.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Me too.
Awesome.
Good.
All right, dear. Well, thanks so much for coming by, and keep us posted. Let us know how it's going.
All right, will do. Bye.
Okay, dear. Bye. Okay. Let's see. Yes, Anne was saying everyone has a story to tell. That's absolutely true. Really, really cool. Okay, guys. Rusam. Let's see. Kevin, I don't think we've met before. Did you have a question?
No, but what are you guys about to go off record?
Yeah, we're recording. So right now what I'm doing is just answering questions for those who have questions about progress mapping, or, you know, have used the maps. This is something that has started from the tribe of people that I work with over at mapyourprogress.com. And so on Wednesdays, we're getting together and having these conversations within the Blab context. So yeah, for right now, we're doing the recording and we're just staying focused on that. So, okay, guys, well, I think this is a good place to leave it. Thank you so much for coming by. As I said, these have gone really well on Wednesdays in January, which is that was the original intention, was just to try it for January. But I think that this is actually a really lovely way for us to connect. So we're going to keep doing this every Wednesday at 12:30 Pacific. And you're welcome to also subscribe or follow along, and you'll get the notifications as well. And I just want to encourage everybody to go to mapyourprogress.com, and you can go ahead and sign up for Progress Mapping 101. and do the free mini course with me. Get your Tin Swirl heart map. And I hope that you, especially if you're in a relationship with a romantic partner, that you will take inspiration from what Mariah and I were talking about at the beginning of the party in terms of doing this with your partner and having this map represent fun things that you can do together to deepen your relationship and, have fun date nights or just grow that connection together with yourself. And so very excited about that aspect of it. And says, thank you so much, Amy. Great ideas and support. I'm working on the one-on-one series right now. Yes, I love it. Awesome. Ellie, you're so welcome. Thanks so much for coming by, and we will see you next week. All right, everyone. Take care.